A chilly wind whispered through the tall pine trees, making Little Bear Barnaby shiver under thick brown fur. Most of the forest flowers had already drooped and faded, their bright colors gone with the summer sun. Little Bear Barnaby was searching for a tiny bit of brightness in the increasingly gray forest. The little bear felt a little bit gloomy, like the weather. Then, in a sheltered spot beside a mossy boulder, Little Bear Barnaby saw it. A single, perfect white daisy stood tall and cheerful, its yellow center like a tiny sun. This little daisy seemed to defy the cold wind, its petals bravely facing the sky. Little Bear Barnaby crept closer, admiring the resilience of the small flower. All its companion daisies had long since wilted, but this one held on. "What a brave little daisy," Little Bear Barnaby whispered, careful not to breathe too hard on its delicate form. The daisy seemed to nod gently in the breeze, as if agreeing. Little Bear Barnaby thought about how easy it would be to pick this daisy. Little Bear Barnaby could take the daisy back to the cozy cave, to brighten up a corner. But then, Little Bear Barnaby imagined the forest without this one last spot of cheer. If this daisy was picked, its bravery would be gone from this little patch of earth. Other animals passing by might miss the sight of this courageous daisy. Squirrel Squeaky, who often scampered this way, would surely appreciate such a hopeful sight. Rabbit Rosie, with a gentle heart, would certainly smile at this persistent daisy. Little Bear Barnaby sat down carefully beside the mossy boulder, just looking at the daisy. The daisy wasn't grand like a sunflower or fragrant like a rose, but it had a special kind of beauty. It was the beauty of quiet strength, of holding on when things were tough. Little Bear Barnaby realized that this daisy was a tiny teacher. The daisy was teaching Little Bear Barnaby about hope, even when the days grew shorter and colder. The little bear decided that the bravest thing to do was to let the daisy be. To let the daisy continue to share its quiet courage with the whole forest. Little Bear Barnaby found a few small, flat stones and carefully placed them in a circle around the daisy. This little stone circle would be a tiny barrier, protecting the daisy from accidental bumps. It was Little Bear Barnaby's way of saying thank you to the brave little daisy. Feeling a warmth spread through a little bare chest, Little Bear Barnaby smiled. The gloomy feeling from earlier had vanished, replaced by a sense of admiration for the small daisy. Little Bear Barnaby knew that even small things, like a single daisy, could make a big difference. The little bear promised to visit the daisy every day, just to see its cheerful face. Perhaps other animals would see Little Bear Barnaby's stone circle and also stop to admire the last brave daisy. The daisy stood as a reminder that even when things seem bleak, there is always beauty and strength to be found. Little Bear Barnaby walked away with a lighter step, carrying the image of the bright daisy in a little bear heart.